And so, welcome everybody to the our call today. I'm really excited about this one. So, working with new chocolatiers is probably my most favorite thing to do. Working with new chocolatiers, working with new leaders. Probably the better thing for me to say is working with new is my favorite thing to do. Reason being is that's where growth is, and the thing that I think I learned in my career is if you want to grow, you have to stay new. I actually today is my 26-year anniversary in the direct selling world. I signed my consultant agreement with Tupperware 26 years ago today, and I've always, yeah, it's exciting. And I will say I actually did train on a lot through my career on staying new. And so when I say working with the new is my favorite, it's not always in tenure. A lot of times it's in our brain, right? Like, how are we staying new? How are we keeping up with the times? How are we staying engaged? One of the reasons I love to come out into the field and meet people or go to parties or do parties, even though that's not a big part of my role, is to stay new, so that's really important. So as we work on this today, we're going to talk about mainly the kickoff to quick start call. Now, let me just talk to you a little bit about how this was meant to be, I guess is a good way to say it. So our goal with this is everything we do, we want to be duplicatable. If I do it, I teach it to you. In reality, you should be able, if it's simple enough, you should be able to turn around and teach it to someone else. So if you have when you received your kit, it's my understanding you get 2 kickoff to quick start guides, right? So you have your own, when you can mark up, when you can give to a recruiter, when they get 2, they can give one back to you, or they have 2 to give just, to get someone started right away. And I do believe you can order additional kickoff to quick start guides. So it's something really nice to have. And what our goal is that as leaders and above, is that when you had new chocolatiers come in, you had a roadmap to take them through the top 10 steps of the most important thing for them to do in their business and say their first 24 to 48 hours. Now, when I send them an invite to the company one, I actually send an attachment of the book with them so they can actually join before they even get their kit. And that's another reason to have them on hand. The idea behind this probably was initially, for those of you that have smaller teams, is to do it immediately, within 24 to 48 hours of them joining. As your team grows and your personal recruiting grows and you're bringing in 8 or 10 people a month personally, or you're bringing in 10 or 15 a month, it's hard to create an hour to do that. So I know a lot of teams have gone to a weekly kickoff to quick start, and you invite everybody that training time. So whether your team is offering that or not, there's also the company supported one. And for up until November, all the FDMs took turns. Then it went just to Molly. As of next week, we're starting all the FDMs taking the turn again. So like Tuesday night, I will be teaching the kickoff to quick start. And I'm actually going to ask everyone that's in PWP, if at all possible, to join me on that call, even if your team already does it. I think it's important to get different perspectives of how it's delivered to find your best way of delivering it and making sure that you're hitting the key points. We don't, just like I don't read I've actually heard from people that sometimes they've been through Promote with Passion and they felt like the book was read to them. I surely don't think you guys think that, because sometimes I don't even know what page you're on and hardly what chapter, but to use it as a guideline, but enough that they can follow along with, right? And so I want to make sure that everyone is really has a good understanding. I'm not going to take you through the class today because I think it makes more sense if you sit in a class. If there's no way that you can do that, I do have a recording of it. I'd prefer you to be on it live, but I do have a recording and I can always send it to you. Another reason I like having the recording is if you're doing your very first one, you could let me do it with you. You could sit down with your new chocolatier, you turn on the recording and you can stop it and talk about it with them through it. And then the next time feel more confident about doing it yourself if you don't have that confidence right now. If you are doing the kickoff to quick start for a downline member, not a personal recruit, we want to highly encourage the recruiter to join that call with you. If you're using the company one, whoever the recruiter is, do their best to, you know, do that as well. Have them join you. Not that they need the training, but the more they hear it, the better they're going to get. But also to show a partnership. I'm invested with you. I'm coming to training with you. And so that's a really important part of building that relationship. Lisa, you were at PLC. 802, is that you, Jean?
Yes,
ma'am.
Okay. I don't know how many I've got on the phone right now. Let me look. I've got Jean. Who do I have? Who's calling in from 337? 337?
Jennifer.
Jennifer. Hey, Jennifer. Jennifer's got us. And then who's calling in from 816?
That's Sharon. I'm out in the car while my brother's at the dentist. I don't know how long I can stay on.
Just stay as long as you can, Sharon. And I know that
I sure will.
Samantha will be joining us here shortly. She was in the middle of a cocoa chat. So when we do this, I just totally lost my train of thought where I was going. What was I saying? Someone help me out here.
You were talking about the quick start.
Yeah, talking about kickoff to quick start.
And the recruiter joining you.
Yes, and then I talked about PLC, and I asked who is there. So here's my thinking. This is so important. This training is so important. But working with new chocolatiers, Jean and Lisa and Sharon, Jennifer, I know you weren't in the class. But I did a class on getting chocolatiers off to a great start. Lisa, I believe you, Jean, and Sharon were all in that class. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
If you remember, and we'll spend some time at the end of this, is my bigger belief in what you train them is how you build that initial relationship with them. And that is the reason that I always believe that if at all possible for you to be sitting in, if you're using someone else's training and you're not doing it yourself, whether it's your upline leader or the company, sit in with them, because that shows you care. Remember the old Laurie famous saying, they don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Yay, good for you. So my topic actually was relationship equals retention. Retention equals results. And that is what I want you guys to remember as we're going through this. If you don't remember anything else today, relationship equals retention. Retention equals results. People don't quit when they feel like you care about them, unless they really have to. Like, you know, there's an illness in their family that they have to take some time away to take care of, or a job change or a move. If they know, they're going to do their best, because people that care about you are not easy to find. And so this training is very important. Jean?
Lori, there's one thing that I wanted to mention that I remember, along with the retention equals results, was when you said it's easier to give birth than to raise the dead. I love that. I love that. So, you know, it's so much about not, you know, chasing them, like Karen Simpson said, into the witness protection program.
Absolutely, Jean. Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, I use that a lot when we look at recruiting. Is it's easier to give birth than raise the dead, meaning go recruit a new one instead of trying to get someone that doesn't want to do. And that was really what I spent a lot of time on. So hopefully we'll have a little time to talk even more about this. So this training, initially, if you're only recruiting, say, one a week, which is great. If you're recruiting, I shouldn't say only one a week, but if you're recruiting one a week, you should be able to set this up independently with each person. Now, ideally, I want you to have in mind when you're going to do this. You know how I told y'all to never say, when do you want to have a party and do you want to join my team? Here's another never to say. When are you available for training? Same difference. They're going to choose times you're not. So what you're going to say is, I do training on. And you're going to have a set time. So maybe the best time for you to do training is on Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. or Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. And it doesn't matter what training. And you say, which is best for you? And if for whatever reason they have a true reason, not an excuse, well, my baby goes to bed at that time. Ladies, that's an excuse. That is not a reason. If they got a job at Purewood Imports and told their boss that they couldn't come to training because it was time for their baby to go to bed, how long would they have a job? They wouldn't. But if they say, oh my gosh, Lori, I work on Wednesday nights and Saturday mornings, unfortunately, in my full-time job, and until I can get this to replace that income, it's really no way. Then you could say, well, the company offers it at Tuesdays at 1 and Tuesdays at 8 Eastern time. Which of those would work for you? Now, you've given them 4 options at this point. If they want to be trained, they're going to find a way to be trained. They may have to move their lunch hour from noon to 1. But if they really want to be trained, out of 4 options, 9 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock on a weekend morning, 1 o'clock in the middle of a day, and 8 o'clock in an evening and weekday, that's a lot of choices, don't you think? And the reason I want you to do that, you could say, well, what would work for you, and let me see what I can fit in. But what you're teaching that very first day to them is they own you. And I don't want them to think they own you. I want them to think you're running a business. You don't own them either. You're running a business. So when do you hold this training? You try to do it with them in their first 24 to 48 hours, if at all possible. So even when you offer your training time, if it's a Tuesday, maybe you offer it for Wednesday night or Thursday morning, if you have that available, or a Wednesday night or Saturday morning, if that works for you. Because you want to get them fully engaged. Because another thing that happens a lot of times is they get so excited about joining, and then they're on their drive home, and their best friend goes, you did what? Oh, those direct sell companies, I've done 3 of them, and it never worked. You want to have that training set and that kit paper in their hand or entered in the computer before someone knocks them down. And then you want to be talking to them again before someone knocks them down, or very quickly thereafter. Hold on, my nose is itching. Somebody's talking about me. Okay, so how long should this training take? When you see me do it, you will see, and it takes me exactly 1 hour. Imagine that. I believe you can only hold people's attention for so long, personally. And so I try really hard to make sure that I don't take any more of their time. I set it off and I tell them this training will take 1 hour. And quite honestly, if it's just a handful of people, it usually only takes me about 45 minutes to 50 minutes because there's not as many questions. When you do this, the way I encourage you, I don't know if we've talked about this yet or not, but when I was being taught to be a trainer, one of the things I learned was the best way to capture people's attention is to tell them what you're going to tell them, and then tell them what you told them. So Jennifer, I know, got to go to a fabulous training our managers did, and I actually had a lot of training in the area of personality styles. And what this does is it touches every personality style. For those that are analytical and those that are dominant and drivers, they want to know what's coming. So that's why when I start my call, I'm say, welcome to our quick start today. I'm so excited to have you on the call. I hope you have your books with you because I want to make sure that you know exactly where we are. What we're going to be doing today is covering 10 steps to getting your business off to a quick and strong start. Step number 1, committing to the quick start. 2, planning your schedule. 3, scheduling your business. 4, creating your contact list. 5, scheduling your first 6 to 8 parties. 6, knowing how to invite your guests to your launch party. 7, training and observation parties. 8, spreading the word. 9, dreaming big. And 10, taking the first steps to maximizing your income. Now, what I'll be doing is I'll be giving you 1 to 3 steps at a time, and then we'll take a pause and we'll answer any questions that has to do with what we've just trained on. Do you see how I'm really setting an expectation for them? They know what's coming. They're not interrupting me after step 1 because they know I'm going to pause and give them a chance. And that's how we keep it on task, right? How do I appeal to those that have more of the supporter personality or the promotional, like the promoter personality? That's why I tell stories. Because people that have the supporter or promoter personality, they want to touch you. They want to feel engaged with you personally. So I'm gonna not just read them the book. I'm gonna add some examples of what I've experienced or what they might experience that they can truly relate to. So I'll say, so let's get started. First thing I want you to do is commit to that quick start. And the important thing is to know what you're gonna get when you do. So I hope each of you printed out the flyer or having it from your kit. I attached the quick start flyer. And then I go into that. And so I'm talking about it and they're seeing it and they're touching it and I'm holding it up to the screen if I'm doing it via Zoom. I just thought of something I want to add in here before I go any further. I really like doing this training via Zoom even more than I like doing it live. You probably think, oh, that's really odd, Lori. But let me tell you why. I control the environment. I can completely control the training environment. The other thing I like is, let's say you're my next door neighbor or you live, 3 miles from me and you and I meet and we do it together. Well, if you're trying to recruit someone that lives in another state, but your trainer did it sitting in the same room with you, they're going to go, yeah, but you had someone right there to do it with you. If I do it with you via Zoom, whether you live next door 3 miles or 300 miles, it makes no difference because the Zoom and the phone does not know distance. So you're setting the example that you can do it right there. Now, if you go and you drive an hour and a half to do a launch party and you have time to stay and do this training with them right then, I'm not saying don't do it, but here's what I am saying: leave their house. Leave their house because you do not control the environment. So the husband walks in and starts talking to him and you can't go, hey, we're training. You're on my dime here, right? Their doorbell rings, their phone rings. They pick up the phone. You can't say, hey, we're training. Their kids are misbehaving. You can't say, can you get control of those kids? So if you're at their home and you're wanting to train, go to a McDonald's and start. You can tell my age so bad. I never say Starbucks. I always say McDonald's because there was no Starbucks when I was doing this. I always met people at McDonald's. So, because in the middle of the day, there's always an empty, quiet table at McDonald's, right? So, and we didn't need Wi-Fi. So it didn't matter because there was no Wi-Fi back then in the olden days. Remember, for those of you that just came on, today's my 26th anniversary in direct selling. So I signed my paper 26 years ago today. I need to do a shout out to the person that recruited me on Facebook today to give me this great, wonderful career. So never do training on their turf. Now, visit them on their turf. So who was it? Last night, I was on a coaching call. I can't remember who it was with. And someone said to me, I'm in my bedroom because that's the only place oh, it was Lenny. She said, it's the only place I really can call my own. That's good for me to know. It's good to know because that affects how we work. Initially, my bedroom was where I worked. I didn't even have a desk. I sat in the middle of my bed with my desk. Look, I think Lisa's saying, yay, Lori made it with the middle of the bed. I can make it 26 years too, right? But that was my workspace. when I invited people to training, I could control my environment. I could tell my ex-husband at the time, you need to take the kids out for an hour so I have a quiet moment, or you're in charge of keeping them outside. Because let me tell you, I'm just going to tell you about me. I don't know if this you. I had a separate room that I could close completely off. Our dining room in that house, I could completely close it off, but it wasn't soundproof. And if I heard one of my kids crying, even though I know their dad was with them, my mom instincts flared. Where any of you that are moms know you're a mom first. You can't help it. God did that for a reason. You know, your mom's first. I hope I didn't offend anybody by that little bit of a statement. But anyway, that's my feeling. That was done for us in a way because of our nurturing. So even though I know that he's handling it, or if he has to correct one of them, oh, that's really bad when you're not in the room and someone else is with you and you don't think he's doing it the right way and you can't get up, and not that you should, but you're maybe thinking, oh, what's this person think? See what I mean? So if you know that your kids are a handful, and let me tell you, I have 3 under the age of 5. My kids are very well behaved. They were not perfect. Let me be very clear. And they were very well-behaved children. Discipline was very strong in our house. But did that not mean that they weren't kids? So most of the time, when I had team meetings, he took them out of the house. Or I hired a sitter that could drive, that could take them out of the house. I trained every Saturday morning from 9 to 11 until soccer season when my kids started playing soccer. And then I moved it, to different times depending on their schedules. My kids were usually home, but it was a backyard day. If it was a rainy day, it was a out of the house day. And I always had an adult in charge. You'll probably think I'm going off on this a little too much, but let me tell you, I've had people come to me and say, I can't work with her because her kids are always crying in the background, or she's stopping and saying this. Here's another thing. Don't answer your phone if you can't give the person on the other end the full attention. I'm going to use Jennifer because I know she's holding a little baby right now. And it's her grandbaby. And let me just be really clear with you guys. Grandbabies become more special than children. And if you knew how special grandbabies were, you'd have more kids. I'm just telling you. You don't believe me right now, but it's the truth. And anyway, I'm kind of saying that lightly, but they are really, really special. Jennifer, if that baby's awake and she looks and the host is calling and that baby's having a fussy day, it's better for Jennifer to let that phone go to voicemail and then call back, because that person on the other end doesn't want to hear a baby screaming. They're calling to do business. When you call your insurance agent, do you want to hear a baby screaming? I called a travel agent that worked from home, and I literally had to say to the travel agent, why don't you give me a call back when you get your kids settled down? Because, and I have kids, but my time is valuable. And I don't want to hear your kids. And so, by the way, if you and I are having a coaching call, I'm not going to say I don't want to see your baby, but if they're having a moment, don't be offended if I say, why don't you give me a call back when you get your kids settled down? Because you're going to learn more and I'm going to learn more now, right? Now, your kids want to walk in and wave one time to Miss Lori, they hear who you're talking about. I think that's cute as a button. I might turn my video around and let you see my grandbaby or my husband for a moment. But remember, we're doing business, okay? I love it. Lisa, her child is home right now. And she just figured out a way to make it appropriate to be with her child and have her doing stuff. And I love it because whenever Lisa has to leave, she changes her screen. So it's not distracting to us. That's a professional way to handle that then. And that we all know that, I just muted Dina. I bet she didn't know she wasn't muted. So anyway, we have, these are things that are important. Own your territory. Does everybody got that clear? Own your territory, because that is where you're going to get the most. Then you're going to take them through each step. okay? You're going to take them through every single step, and you're going to relate it to them. And then at the end, you're going to review it. And this is the question I want you to ask. Write this down. Is there anything we just covered that you're not completely clear on? Will you look at the 10 steps right now? And is there anything that we covered that you feel you are not clear on? Because when they come to you on day 48 and say, well, I didn't know my coupons weren't good on day after 45 days, you can go, you know what, I know you get a lot of information, but remember when we did our kickoff to Quick Start and I asked you if there was anything you weren't clear on and you said you were clear on everything? I understand that sometimes we forget, but I just want to make sure that you know we did cover that. That's just calling protecting your own rear end. So just ask them, is there anything that you're not clear on? Now, there's one more question you're asking. Is there anything on here you couldn't share with someone else with this book in front of you? You just told them they can train their first recruit. And they said yes. Now, they may want you to do the first one with them, but isn't it great now that our training is so simple? After they hear it one time, they can do it again. And they can see you do not have, how many of you, well, you guys are pretty new, so you may not have heard this yet. I know a few of you have been in the industry before. How many of you have heard, I don't want to recruit till I feel like I know everything? All right, let me ask you this. How many of you on this Zoom know everything? I'm not raising my hand either. They're never going to recruit if they got to know everything, because what they know today will change tomorrow. So now you can say you know enough. Don't you feel great that you know enough so that you can get someone else started? So this is a true confidence builder. Now, again, doesn't mean they'll always do it. And that is why building that relationship with everyone in your downline, not just your directs, is important. I've probably shared this before, but a lot of people get like, well, how do I do that? How do I build someone without stepping on toes? I've actually had people say to me, I don't want anybody else calling my team. That's my team. No, it is not. That is called slavery. And it was outlawed many, many years ago. You own no one. It's our team. Because if I recruited you and you recruited them, we're all under one umbrella. Now, I don't want, just like I tell you guys all the time, I'm an extension of you. I'm not a replacement of you. I'm not better than you. I'm just an extension. We want them to feel that you're being an extension of them as well. But I shared this last night. So up until November of this last year, from June of 2015 to November of 2015, I called every single new recruit and personally welcomed them to the business. And the Bravo region, my old region, which was just 17 states, not 27 states, that was about 120 people a month that I, alongside my regular everyday duties as an FDM, I made the conscious decision. It was not something someone told me to do. It was not expected of me to call every single new recruit and welcome them to the business. I also wrote a handwritten card to every single new recruit. So I've always told my leadership, if I can call the entire region, do not tell me you cannot call everyone in your downline. Because like giving birth, most of us under natural circumstances give birth one at a time. Occasionally we get twins, that means 2 recruits in the day. On a great day, we may have triplets. But very rarely are we octo-moms. Very rarely are we octo-moms. Wouldn't you love to be an octo-mom in this case? 8 new recruits in one day? And you will have 8 in your downline as you grow. But right now, you get to learn when you're having 6 or 7 in an entire month in your downline, or 10 or 12, or, you know, in Jennifer's case, maybe 15 or 20. but still most of them don't come in on the same day. So if you if you open your connection, does everybody know how to look at your daily recruits? Simply, if you don't, someone shake their head. It's worth it. Okay, we have one so that I can see, probably others on the phone. When you are in your connection, when you recruit someone or anyone recruits someone, when you open the My Team Performance tab, and that's as a leader what you're going to want to open every single morning. It takes 30 seconds. It's going to go into what we call a tree view, meaning you'll see only the names of the people you've personally recruited, and if they have a recruit, it has a little box with a square with a plus sign in it, and then you click that plus and it becomes a minus and their team drops down. And then if somebody on their team's recruited someone, it has a little box and a plus so you can see the genealogy. But if you go to the top of that screen where it says tree, there's a drop down and you click list and you click search. It's going to now list it in a list view. So whether they're first line, second line, third line, doesn't matter. You're going to see every single person. And then if you scroll to the right, you're going to see a column that says app date, APP as an application. And you're going to click on that. I think I have to click on it 2 or 3 times to get the very top person to be the most recent. So if I go in right now, I can share my screen. Do y'all want to see me do it? Would that be more helpful? Okay, hold on.
Sure.
Let me go to, let me go to it. So we've had a couple of really great days of recruiting too. So this is a fun one for me to do. Now you're going to see the entire company because that's how I look at it. But I can look at just you. All right, so let me share my screen. Share screen. Okay, everybody see it? Anybody see it? I can't see y'all. I can only see my screen, so somebody has to tell me.
Yes.
Okay, so you see I'm going to come down here and go to Track Team Performance. And it's loading. And see right here where it says tree? I'm going to click and I'm going to go to list and search. I'm going to show y'all a few tricks today. Are y'all excited about that?
Yes.
Good. Thank you. Those of you on the phone, I'm sorry you can't see this. I know that's not as much fun. You can always log in and look if you don't want to hear things. Us to hear you, rather. It's having a hard time loading today. It's probably because I got...
Lori, while it's loading, how did you get Zoom to look at your computer?
I'm not sure if it's on the free version or not, but at the bottom it says share screen as one of your options. And then a window pops up and it shows all the screens I can share, and I chose the screen I wanted. And then I click share screen.
That's awesome. Thank you.
And it may or may not be on the free version. Okay, so then I'm gonna go ahead because I want to show you another thing in a minute. This button, expand all, it pulls their contact information as well. So you're going to be able to expand out everything that's in there. I'll show you in just a minute. The only thing I don't think it pulls is their actual physical address, but I think it pulls everything else. State, telephone number, email. Only thing I think it doesn't pull possibly is their actual home address. So why it's expanding, I'll show you. I'll have to wait just a second. Any other questions? That was a great question, Samantha, while we're doing this. Hate that it's so slow. But of course, so at least y'all know I don't have a special magic button that makes my back office any faster than yours. Okay, so then I'm going to scroll down and go over here to app date. Oh shoot, what did I just do? Oh crap, what did I just do? Let me make this window smaller. I think I just screwed up. Dang it. I did. Hold on. I may have to load it. Okay, here we go. There's so many, as you learn to use the back office, there are some frustrating pieces to it. However, the more you use it, you'll find there's some really great pieces. So I'm just gonna, why is it doing that? Why is it not letting me scroll? And I did nothing wrong, I promise. For whatever reason, it's not wanting me to, it's doing something weird on the sides, I can see. Because my bookmark is upside down. Do y'all see that right there? So it made up. I wonder if it's because it's in share mode. If we try one more time. Oh, I know what I can do. Let me let it load again. I don't normally, okay. I do it from over down here. Just go to here, see where it says app date. I click, roll over again. It's still not most recent. Click again, scroll. Now you can see here's all the recruits so far that have come in today. Here's all the recruits that came in yesterday. So when you open this up, you can see, did you have a recruit join yesterday? Then you can, of course, click on their name, and you get all of their contact information. So here's what I do. I open that up, I look, and I think, okay, Christy Biggers lives in Virginia. That's my region. I pick up the phone and I call her. And then as soon as I'm done, I take one of those 20 cards that everyone gets the exact same wording that I wrote over the weekend, and all I have to do is address it, throw my confetti in, seal it, and walk it to the mailbox. On average, it's going to take you about 2 minutes per person, because in 90%, no, maybe 70% of the time, you're going to get a voicemail. So you're going to have a script ready. And you're going to call and you're going to say something like, hi, Christy, this is Lori calling from Duff Chocolate Discoveries. I'm the upline leader of the team that you belong to. And I'm so excited that Sandy has brought you into our group. I know Sandy's going to be a fantastic leader for you. And we also have a manager named Rebecca who will also be there to support you. So I wanted you to know that you have a family of support here to help you. We do our quick start training calls on Tuesdays at 1 and 8 Eastern time. And this is going to be the best way for you to get your business off to a strong start. So if Sandy hasn't told you about that yet, ask her and expect to receive an invitation email from me also, because we want to make sure you get everything that's coming to you. If you'd like to share a little bit about yourself with me, I would love to get to know you better. My number is 817-217-7103. Just give me a call. If not, I look forward to getting to meet you maybe on our quick start call or really soon when I'm out in the area. Can you tell I've said that a few times? It's because I wrote a script, because I can just sit here and read it and I don't even have to think. If I get her on the phone, I'm going to say, hi, Christy, this is Lori. Do the little thing. I'm so glad, blah, blah, blah. Hey, I just wanted to call and welcome you to the team. Is this a good time for us to get to know each other a little bit better? I'm a real believer. If I know you, I can be a much better support. And this is a relationship business. 90% of the time, I'd love to tell you. And let me tell you, you're going to learn a lot. You want to know that I can't tell you how many people did not know about Maui when I would call them. And you're going, what? That can't be possible, right? Well, it's because I have people go, yeah, I saw it, but I didn't really look into it. I didn't think that pertained to me, because they thought they had to be the top of the top of the top, like at most companies, so they didn't even read it. Or they didn't know about Sweet Shop, because they got this kit and all this stuff was mixed in and they just missed it. And their brand new recruiter, it's our first recruit, was so excited about Sweet Shop and the supplemental kit, they forgot to tell them about Quick Start. So it's a great time to engage. And I can tell you, no one's ever said to me, I wish people would quit calling me and welcoming me. Never. So in this case, because I know the lineage here, quite honestly, this Christy Bigger should be getting a call from Abby Helen, Rebecca Mason, Jennifer Fitzgerald, Sheila Lane, and of course her direct recruiter. That means she's going to have 5 people saying, we are here to support you. Can that person ever leave our business and say, there was no one there to help me? Can't happen. She's got phone numbers. She feels so excited. And let me tell you, I'll talk to people that have been with other companies and they'll go, oh my gosh. Like, I have never had one person ever call me like from home office or from my upline. This is the most support I've ever gotten. Has anyone of you that have been with other companies felt that way? It's amazing. So I'm a real believer. Why do I write 20 cards on the weekend? In your case, maybe 5 every weekend? Because all I have to do is address it and put it in the mailbox. I stamp them. I put my return address there, ready to go. All I do is write Dear So-and-so at the top in the same ink. And got the letters in, seal it, and all I have to do is walk it to the mailbox. The whole process takes about 2 minutes if I don't actually get to talk to them. The ones that call you back are going to be your next hot shot. They want to tell you about themselves, right? Am I boring y'all? Okay, good. Some of y'all look a little bored. I just want to make sure. I know I'm giving you a lot of information. The reason I did the expand all, as your team really grows, okay, after you expand all, hit this export all rows. So let's say Jennifer Mercado wants to do a challenge just for anyone that was recruited in Virginia. She does not have to dig through her genealogy. Or let's say as your team gets really big, you're going to go make a field visit. I'm going to go in here. Are y'all still able to see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not an Excel guru, I'll show everyone. And so, because some of you may not know how to do this, I'm going to go in here. I'm going to highlight it by clicking on this window. I'm going to filter this. I'm going to go to Virginia. So I'm going to unselect. I'm going to go right here. I'm going to go find Virginia.
I'm having a hard time.
I don't see this one,
I can't
Lori.
see it either.
Oh, hold on. Sorry, because I have to change which screen I'm sharing. It may not let me share in Excel. Hold on. New share. Here we go. Let me share in Excel. Yeah, no. 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 Where is it? Let me do this. Bring this up.
Now I see it.
You see it? Okay, let me undo what I did.
Yeah.
In case there's people. So what I did, I can't undo it. I used this little arrow right here to highlight the screen. I went over here to sort and filter. I clicked on filter and it put these little filters in. And when I first opened it, they were all checked. So I just checked that select all, unselect all. I went and I clicked on Virginia because that's where I'm going and I want everyone to know I'm coming there. I click OK. Now I can go right here and I can get an email list of everybody that lives in Virginia. Isn't that easy? Is that new?
Yeah.
Did anybody know that?
Yeah, it's great.
Super easy. You want to know how many people are in your downline and you don't want to have to click on every button and open it? Go to list, export it. Look here, it'll number them for you. Mine is, I'm on one state, so you can't see. But if I want to know now how many people are in Virginia, I can highlight this list, drop it into a new screen and I know how many chocolatiers. I'm not allowed to tell you that, so I'm not going to do it. But I drop it into another one, and I'll know exactly how many chocolatiers I have in Virginia. So let's say I have 200. I have no clue if I have 100 or 500. So that's just a total guess. And I have a goal that I want to hit 250 by the end of June. I can send all my thing and say, we need 50 recruits. And I don't have to sit and try to count and find. So any other questions before I start sharing my screen?
Nope.
Okay.
No.
All right. Have you guys found that helpful and can see where it can help you?
Yes,
So
yes, definitely.
back to that relationship. So we've talked about training, but remember, relationship is so important. Couple of things that I wish I could put my hands right now on my notes, and I should have done this, but I think I actually threw them away because it was like a really sketchy outline. That's how I do things. Some quick things. You recruit someone within 24 to 48, within 24 hours, you should make a follow-up call to them. Hey, how are you doing? Personally. And then leave them with one business task. But first make the call personal. You know, so who's the first person you told about your business? Who was or even that can be loaded, who got the most excited about you doing that? The first person may not have. So who got the most excited about you being part of Dove? And then you might say, well, we set your launch date yesterday. Have you made your list of 30 to 40 yet? That's their one task that you're going to leave them with after you talk to them. Okay? Then you're going to say, okay, well, let's talk. Your party's coming up. Can you talk tomorrow, or would the next day be better to really talk about, you know, if you're not getting the exact response you want, how you might tweak your words? Then you're going to call them, or you can say, let's meet for coffee. Or I'm going to be working on booking calls tomorrow. Would you like to come over and hang out and listen to get some word choices? Or would you like to get on a 3-way call and listen? Just doing things that touch them. I have parties this Tuesday night, this Thursday night, and Saturday afternoon. Which one would you like to attend for training? Not do you want to train, which one do you want to go to? We have a team meeting next Thursday night. Can I pick you up and let's ride together? Or our organization team meeting is Monday night. We do it via Zoom. Why don't we meet somewhere for coffee and watch it together? If you have 3 recruits, you all meet somewhere together. Again, control your environment, your house or a neutral location. Remember, no matter where everyone lives, you are the center location. It takes you just as long to drive to them as it does them to drive to you. Now, if all 3 of them, so for example, I live in Arlington, Texas. North Dallas, Plano, Texas is about 45 minutes from me. If I recruit 3 people in Plano, I would say to them, why don't I find a location for us to all meet in Plano? Here's what's going to happen. Angie, loving to be the entertainer, goes, oh, y'all can come to my house, right? Angie, that is so kind of you, but I think it actually will make the group feel better if we are in a neutral territory till we all get to know each other. Nice way of saying, heck no. Not till I know you better and know what you're like. Right? So, but you do it really. Angie, that's so nice of you, but listen, why don't we like meet at a neutral location the first time? And then after you do that, you get to explain to them in a training why you did that, and it's going to make sense. And you're going to say, Angie, I know your kids would be perfect, but you don't know about everybody else's. So these are just some things and building that relationship. And let me tell you, so we have a gal, I'm not going to call her out because somebody might know her upline, but there's one of you on this call that quite honestly has no relationship with their upline leadership. And had I not been making calls and seeing things and she hadn't responded on her own to wanting to be part of this group, I don't believe she'd be where she is today. So it's important that you not trust that everyone is reaching down. Okay? I would love to tell y'all that I could continue, and I tried last month really, really hard to continue to go back to calling all the new chocolatiers. I can't do it. I can't. 250 people is out of my limit. I can't do it. And do my job. So here's what I'm asking of you. I want you to attach yourself to a chocolatier every month as your future leader. Some months it might be 2. If you don't have at least 1, that means you're not recruiting enough. And I want each of you to always give me 1 person you want me to reach out to. I have about 75 or 80 leaders and above. I can make 80 phone calls and write 80 cards a month. I can't do 200 and reach out to future leaders because I always did the leaders also. So I want to be part of your groups. And if you'd like me to be part, I'm going to ask you even today, who's someone on your team that you wanted me to reach out to? In fact, everybody can come off mute if you don't even want to have to. And right now I'm going to say, if you give me your first shot, would be the person that you really believe could make it to team leader this month. And if so, what percentage? And if you don't have a future team leader, I'll put them on my list. But I'll put them, I prioritize, right? Because I had 2 managers yesterday send me like 6 people each. I said, you're going to have to put these in order of how, who's the most likely, because I can't commit to 6 from each team or I'm back to calling 200 people again. But I can commit to 1 or 2 depending on where they are. So I'll take everyone off mute. And if you want, or if you want to just say, Laurie, let me get back to you, that's fine also. But I'm just going to go around as I see people and ask, and you can either tell me your name or say, Laurie, let me get back to you. And that can mean I'm not getting back to you because I don't have anyone, but I don't want to say that out loud. Or it can mean you're really going to get back to me, okay? So I'm going to do it in the order I see you guys. Lisa?
Michelle Shagru Fellows.
Okay. I think I've got her on Lenny's list too, so that's a hot one. Dina, can you hear me? Dina! You're unmuted. Dina, we'll come back to you or you can type it. Jean.
Yes, Peter Lynn, Wet, W-E-Z-T.
Spell her last name again.
W-E-Z-T.
W-E-C-T.
Z. Yep.
Okay. And was there another one? Lynn Wetz. And what is the percentage of you thinking she'll get promoted this month? On a scale of 100%.
50.
Okay. Lisa on Michelle.
50, 60.
I'm going to say 60 because
Yeah, yeah.
this is really good.
Yeah.
Lisa, can you hear me now?
Me?
Yeah.
Samantha Wilkerson.
What is your percentage of her getting promoted from 1 to 100?
Probably a 50%.
Okay. Angie.
Mindy Bulachek.
Mandy Bolichak.
Mindy, M-I-N-D-Y,
Okay.
B-U-L-I-C-E-K.
Okay. And what is the percentage?
For this month, for February, 20%.
Okay. So when I get those go to the bottom part of my list, just so you know. I'm sure y'all are fair. When you have 100% or an 80, you're going to want them at the top.
Yeah.
So, okay. So just so you know, Samantha, and I know you're working, Angie, and I know, Samantha, you're working on yourself too. So, Samantha.
I don't have anybody quite there yet, so they're low percentage, but if I had to have you call someone, it would be Corey Everett.
K or C?
C-O-R-I,
Okay.
Everett.
All right. All right. Jennifer.
It would be Marcia Mauser,
Marcia, what's the last name?
Mouser.
Okay. And percentage?
Well, she was a firecracker on my team last time. I think that probably about a 70%.
All right. And who's calling from 816?
Sharon, I'm still here. I'm afraid I've got to go in real quick though. But have you reached out to Megan Nicholas yet? She actually became team leader, but she had to move right then, and she's really struggling now because of her change of circumstance. And I didn't know if you ever had a chance to contact her or not.
I haven't talked to Megan in a month or two at least, but I can certainly reach out to Megan.
That would be great. So it would be. She's really. That would be great. Thank you.
Perfect.
And I'll talk to you later. I've got to go. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye. All right. So we are at noon exactly, 1 Eastern time. Anybody have any last minute questions? I want to be timely for you guys today.
Lori,
Yes.
I am sending you my recruit's name because it's very hard to spell and her phone number in an email.
Perfect. Thank you. Homework
You're welcome.
is to, anyone you recruit this week, is to use the Kickoff to Quick Start. And for those of you that got on a little late, I've asked that if at all possible, next Tuesday evening, I am teaching the Kickoff to Quick Start call. Kim Starcevich, I think, is teaching it during the day. I'd love for you to get on with me just because we're working together, but if you can get on either one of those next Tuesday, that's really, I know many of you are hearing it from your upline leaders. I'd like you to have different perspectives so that you can find your perspective. It doesn't mean what's being done in your team is wrong by any means. It doesn't mean what I'm doing is right. It means finding the pieces that work that you think are the best for you. And There's always that learning. So that, honestly, we're at the point that our homework now is to continue 21 days to success. But really, everybody should be creating that habit pretty strongly. So it is getting your book every week to 2 to 3 parties and 1 recruit every week. So next week is our last call. If you've enjoyed the follow-up coaching and you would like to continue to be in a coaching group, usually coaching groups are for leaders and above only, but I always invite, whether you've promoted quite yet or not, I always invite my Promote with Passion people to be part of that. So send me an email or a text, whatever's easiest for you, or a Facebook message, I don't care, that just says, yes, Dina, I got yours, so you're on my list already. Yes, I want to be in a group. Yes, daytime or evening is best for me. And if there's any day that just doesn't work at all. I've got a few open spots already, but if I need to create additional, and if there's someone that you really feel like you have bonded with, that you'd like to be in the group with, if I can make that work, I will. So just so you guys know, Dina, Angie, Jennifer, so like y'all are all in the same lineage. I try to split lineages up, especially upline, downline, because that's almost like getting the benefit of you get all these different that we know you're going to share anyway. Now, if you're it doesn't always happen, but at this day and time, I only have one situation with an upline, downline, and it just was no way to avoid it. But I really try to keep that because I want you to take what you've got and get the benefit from the 5 other people. So now you're learning from 15 if 3 of you are in the same lineage and you're in 3 different groups. So I try to split that up just so you know I do that on purpose. Okay? All right, everybody, have a great day. Call me if you need me, okay? Bye. Happy
Thank you.
Wednesday.